the Irish guy. Right, let's take a look at the weirdest transfer every day of July. And lads, there's been some crazy ones this month. Right, let's go. First, Marc Guiu to Chelsea. So let me get this straight. One of the biggest financial blunders Chelsea have made in the Todd Boehly era was choosing to keep Trevoh Chalobah in favour of dumping Marc Guehi, someone who just became England's player of the tournament at Euro 2024. So right, okay, you've gotten rid of Marc Guehi, and now you've chosen to sign Marc Guiu. This one is an 18-year-old striker plucked out of Barcelona's academy after 10 years of being in the new camp. The kid has only played 3 La Liga games, but he did become the youngest and fastest debutant to score for Barcelona in the league, and then scored another one in the Champions League against Royal Antwerp. This man stinks of the Bojan Krčić hype all the way back in 2010, and yet he has chosen to leave for Chelsea in a €6 million deal. Is that it? This is a teenage sensation apparently, who has been compared to Samuel Eto'o. What is also strange is that he's only been offered a 5-year deal. I mean, Chelsea are a club which hands out 8-year contracts as if they're mini sausage rolls. Chelsea are a club who come on way too strong, lock youngsters into seriously long-term contracts. So a 5-year deal for an 18-year-old actually seems really lukewarm. I mean, come on, Kieran Dewsbury Hall is a boring milk muffin with a fraction of Guhu's hype, and he's been given a 6-year deal, a contract that will chain him to Stamford Bridge until just 3 months before his 32nd birthday. But Guhu, he could realistically become a free agent at 23? This is all very strange. Second, Orel Mangala to Lyon. £20 million. Nottingham Forest have pocketed £20 million for Orel Mangala, a 26-year-old Belgian international midfielder, but did his boring 2-year spell at Forest really warrant a £20 million switch to Lyon? The French Giants have essentially wasted the fee that Everton have just given them for Jacob Bryan, someone who is actually going to become a legit world star. Come on, Lyon, what are you doing? What makes this crazy is that Forest already ripped off Lyon in February, giving them Mangala on a 4-month loan for £10 million. A £10 million loan fee. Mangala only squeezed in 12 games for Lyon last season anyway. That's basically £1 million a match. And they've chosen to give Forest another 20. It's ridiculous. Third, Ethan Mbappe to Lille. So the pretense is up. I guess Ethan Mbappe really was only at PSG because of who his brother was. It's pretty sad. This kid followed Kylian to PSG in 2017 when he was only 10. He last 7 years in Paris, even played 5 times for the senior side last season, but the minute Kylian gets that monster move to Real Madrid, oh no, they've also thrown away his little bro. This is actually his first professional contract, and it's with Lille? That wasn't supposed to happen. Fourth, Tanguy Ndombele to Nice. Tanguy Ndombele is somebody who cost Tottenham a club record £60 million when this French beefcake joined from Lyon in 2019. It's pretty wild that after 3 loan spells away, he's just been given to Nice on a free. Look, he's not an awful player, and it's actually a quality, cheap signing for Nice. But oh wow, Daniel Levy to not even make a single pound back on your club record signing. This transfer, oh yuck. Fifth, Liam Morrison to QPR. This transfer is a little sad because it's actually shockingly unweird. Seeing a 21-year-old Scottish centre-back rugrat like Liam Morrison rock up at QPR in the Championship does not seem strange or odd, which must be so incredibly sad because his career had actually been exciting up until this point. This is some ginger mouse who was in Celtic's academy before choosing to join Bayern Munich at the age of 16. His new manager was Miroslav Klose, a complete World Cup legend. The entire of Scotland were probably dreaming of having a centre-back actually breaking into the team at one of the biggest clubs in the world. But no, it's 5 years later, he was never allowed to make his Bayern debut and is now just stuffed in the same dressing room as Jack Colback and Jimmy Dunn. It's all very anticlimactic. Sixth, Charlie Cresswell to Toulouse. I'm sorry, what? Here we have 21-year-old centre-back Charlie Cresswell, son of Richard, who was an incredibly forgettable journeyman striker, but Charlie is someone who has been at Leeds United since 2013. He was given his debut by Marcelo Bielsa. It was only a year ago he was signing a fresh new 4-year contract at Ellen Road. Surely he was going to cement himself on the team soon. Now, just a year after that new deal, he's just been sold to Toulouse in France for less than £4 million. How does anyone in Toulouse know who he is? And now a message from our sponsors. Lads, and what is an incredibly boring transfer window? A window about as exciting as eating cereal filled with mud. A transfer window that is about as pulsating as my nan's birthday party. Oh no, don't worry. Matchmasters provides all the summer excitement I need. Look, you can play against players from all over the world. Or for those antisocial ones who don't want to make friends, fine, don't worry. There's single player too. But lads, just watch the gameplay. Okay, so this is the gameplay. Okay, this is tricky, lads. I need to get to 160. Okay, basically the goal is to get as many of these logos in a row as you can. The triangles, triangles, diamonds, etc.
It's tricky, but I've got my boosters, so I'm going to activate my boosters. Sounds like cheating, doesn't it? But no, I need boosters. Honestly, my fingers are too stubby, especially my thumb. Don't know why, but yeah, this is great. I'm going to have so much fun playing this in the airport bathroom next week. And if you love to play these mobile games whilst waiting for football journalists to say literally anything interesting this summer, then check out Matchmasters for free on both iOS and Android. Use my QR code on screen or with the link in the description below. Big thanks to Matchmasters, but for now, back into the video.
7th, Thomas Strakosha to AEK Athens. So it's finally over then. Thomas Strakosha's Brentford reign is finally done and doesn't just feel like a wasted opportunity. This is a 28-year-old goalkeeper who is the undisputed Albanian #1, and he does have over 200 games under his belt for a European giant like Lazio. Clearly he doesn't have chicken nugget fingers, and yet despite the Bees literally having their Spanish international goalkeeper ripped out of their claws by Arsenal, Strakosha was never really given a chance. And after just 2 games for Brentford, he's now just joined AEK Athens in Greece on a free transfer. What a waste. 8th, Moise Kean to Fiorentina. How does Moise Kean keep landing himself such quality jobs? This 24-year-old Italian centre forward is a myth. He was this exciting young Juventus prodigy wonderkid 5 years ago. He then becomes a £30 million joke at Everton, then redeems himself with 17 goals on loan at PSG, then returns to Juve on a permanent deal, and he doesn't do much. Cresswell last season was a disgrace. 0 goals in 20 matches. And yet despite a pretty rotten career so far, he has still just secured himself a £15 million move to Fiorentina. 9th, Khephren to Juventus. Can we please test Lilian Thuram's DNA in a lab? Because this is the most perfect dream transfer for anyone all summer. For years, Marcus Thuram was clearly deprived of the Thuram family. Having been born to one of the greatest defenders of all time, a world champion right back with nearly 150 caps for France, the fact that Marcus then grew up to now be a striker for Inter Milan and nearly won the World Cup himself, that is amazing. I'm guessing he was the one who Lilian was inviting out for fishing trips, whilst 23-year-old Khephren, just some defensive midfielder for Nice, after being a failure at Monaco on Christmas mornings, oh dear, he probably only received a dog food sandwich off his dad. He was the Fredo of the Thuram family. But now, he's actually joined Juventus for £17 million. A Juventus where his dad was a complete legend. The fact that his son, somebody who he literally named after an Egyptian pharaoh, he really has just followed in his daddy's footsteps to join Juve. It is amazing, especially considering Thuram burst through at Monaco, where Khephren was not able to. Lilian probably assumed then and there that this kid wasn't going to do much in the game, but the fact that he's managed to go all the way to Juventus, he's probably even made Marcus feel jealous. 10th, Moussa Sissoko to Watford. This doesn't make sense. When I saw that Moussa Sissoko would return to Watford this summer, I assumed, oh, he must have been on some weird 2-year loan spell at Nantes in France. Okay, so he's been dragged back to pre-season training early. But considering how much of a horror flop he was, captaining the Hornets to a pitiful relegation in his one and only season at Vicarage Road, oh, surely they were now going to find him another move away. Or just feed his contract to Elton John's dog. No, I was right. He was sold to Nantes in July 2022. So why on earth? Why now? When he turns 35 in 2 weeks' time, why is he back? He was a miserable Watford flop. 11th, Ciro Immobile to Besiktas. It feels like only 5 minutes ago that Newcastle United were embarking on that huge takeover, and Ciro Immobile was the marquee superstar that the new owners were willing to break the bank for. The Lazio goal machine was such a tantalizing option, but suddenly, I guess he's finished. He's now a 34-year-old striker who's just left Lazio after 8 years, but for Besiktas in Turkey. He's just gone off to eat pies and chocolate muffins with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Shame. 12, Roberto Pereyra to AEK Athens. Wow, AEK Athens have been busy. Snapping up 33-year-old forward Roberto Pereyra from Udinese on a free. He's a talented player with 19 caps for Argentina. Seems a bit strange to see him wind up in Greece. 13th, Troy Parrott to AZ Alkmaar. When Troy Parrott was lighting up the Spurs Academy and getting me insanely excited for the rise of this Irish centre forward, I did not think that he'd be eventually sold at the age of 22 to AZ Alkmaar for less than £7 million. I really hope this entire AZ project doesn't turn out to be a joke, but it doesn't fill me with confidence when I hear that the manager's name is Martin Martins. That's a name that belongs in a circus in Grimsby, mate. What, was he friends with Gary Neville's dad? But you never know, okay, because Alkmaar did turn Josie Altidore into an Eredivisie goal machine, and he was a bumbling marshmallow in the Prem. 14th, Will Kambwala to Villarreal. Well, that was very anticlimactic. Will Kambwala was the future of Manchester United, right? After bursting into the defence after Christmas last season, this was a 19-year-old centre-back star. Old Trafford's answer to Gerald Kwanzaa, right? No, because he's been embarrassingly replaced by a younger model. Instead of persisting with his Dr. Congo wonder kid, they have chosen to sell him to Villarreal for practical couch change. Less than £5 million, before spending over 10 times that amount on an 18-year-old Lenny Yoro. This is like Leonardo DiCaprio dumping his new girlfriend because at 21 she's too old. old. Poor old Kambwala. 15, Saul Niguez to Sevilla. This is pretty sad because Saul Niguez looked like he had just scraped his career back together. This Spanish midfielder was an Atletico Madrid midfield monster, what, 6-7 years ago? But he clearly lost his way because this was a very pathetic, forgettable earworm of a loan signing at Chelsea. Honestly, the bloke might as well have scribbled his name into the toilet walls at Stamford Bridge because that's the only way anyone ever associated with Chelsea would ever remember he was there. But to be fair, when his career looked like he was down the bottom of a toilet bowl, he then burst back into life at Atletico. He played 38 games in a season for them on his return. He played nearly 50 games last season. So the fact he's now just been loaned to Sevilla, I guess he is finished after all. 16th, Matt Ryan to Roma. I think we can all agree that Matt Ryan is a 32-year-old Australian goalkeeper who has about as much star quality as a slice of toast that tastes like earwax. And yet, his CV since leaving Australia: Club Brugge, Valencia, Genk, Brighton, Arsenal. Yes, Arsenal, don't forget. Real Sociedad, Copenhagen, AZ Alkmaar, and now Roma on a free. I don't care that he's been bought to sit on the bench. This is someone who was bullied out of Brighton by a weasel-faced Graham Potter. I mean, sure, that man is still earning £200,000 a week from Chelsea to do nothing but trim his tulips and watch Shrek in the nude. But still, the fact that Ryan has since played for the likes of Arsenal, Real Sociedad, and Roma since that bust-up, he is having the last laugh. 17th, Houssam Aouar to Al-Ittihad. What happened to Houssam Aouar? This guy was strutting his stuff in Lyon's midfield during his early 20s. He was going to be Arsenal's replacement for Mesut Ozil. He was going to be the original Martin Odegaard, right? He had European hype up to his eyeballs. But his form has fallen off a map to such an alarming degree that he used to be linked to Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest a couple of summers ago. That alone was a terrifying update. Well, despite a promising move to Roma last summer, now he's only just turned 26 a month ago and has chosen to move to Al-Ittihad in a £10 million deal and for wages of just £98,000 a week. That's it! His teammate Karim Benzema is also a former Lyon star who's also of Algerian descent. They have a lot in common. I'm sure Aouar probably have bedroom photos of him as a child. Now they're teammates, they're finally equals, right? No, because Benzema earns £200 million a year, whilst Aouar has sacrificed his mid-20s to play in a league where camels are probably chewing the corner flag as we speak, and yet he's still getting paid less money than Tyrone Mings. What was the point? 18th, Pepe Reina to Como. Pepe Reina turns 42 in August and has still managed to secure himself a move to a Serie A club, joining Cesc Fabregas' Como. How is he still going? 19th, Kasper Schmeichel to Celtic. Look, I know that Kasper Schmeichel and Joe Hart are practically the same person, so this shouldn't look that strange. It's actually a perfect fit. But still, for Celtic to sign another Premier League winning goalkeeper in a row, signing 37-year-old Schmeichel from Anderlecht on a free, it looks strange on paper, but actually it's really smart. 20th, Thomas Delaney to Copenhagen. So I guess that's officially it then. Thomas Delaney is done. At just 32, after reaching his exciting heights of playing for Werder Bremen, Borussia Dortmund, Sevilla, Hoffenheim and Anderlecht, no, he's now back where he started, returning to Copenhagen on a free. Yes, according to Wikipedia, he joined them when he was 1. I'm very confused. But lads, it's kind of wild that when Delaney makes his debut this season, that will actually be his 250th game for Copenhagen. That's weird, right? 21st, Erik Lamela to AK Athens. Yeah, AK Athens have signed another filthy street baller. In comes Erik Lamela, the Rabona King from Sevilla, for free. And he's still only 32. Athens are moving mad. 22nd, Gareth Barry to Hurstpier Point. He's 43. 43 years old! Gareth Barry has played nearly 1,000 games of professional football. Nobody in Premier League history has ever played more games in that league than him. How is his body not broken? I know it's only the 11th tier, but still, he's 43! The man's bones should be begging for mercy. Why has he come out of retirement now? This man must have no other hobbies. 23rd, Che Adams to Torino. Look, I didn't think that Torino could ever top the strange acquisition of Joe Hart on loan 8 years ago, but oh no! They've topped it. They've now signed a 28-year-old Scottish meatloaf centre forward, Che Adams, on a free from Southampton. Clearly hoping for him to be the next Andrea Bollati. I mean, to be fair, both guys do look like they probably eat chicken wings for breakfast. Despite being an unthreatening marshmallow in Premier League football, the fact he has managed to secure himself a move to a top half team in Serie A, wow! And I respect it. Because as a free agent, surely he could have gone somewhere and commanded elite, lucrative wages. I mean, Lloyd Kelly's just made himself a £150,000 a week centre-back at Newcastle. But despite being in the advantageous position of being a free agent, despite having interest from the Saudi Pro League, he still only agreed to £53,000 a week in Italy. Fair play, Jay. This was clearly a footballing decision. 24th, Moussa Diaby to Al-Ittihad. And this was the opposite. A complete mercenary one. I don't get it. Aston Villa literally just qualified for the Champions League. Moussa Diaby was only 1 year into a fairly lucrative long-term deal at Villa Park anyway, and yet at just 25, he has quit his supposed Premier League dream to go and earn £20 million a year at Al-Ittihad, wrapping up a £50 million move to the desert. Just watch. Just like Alan Saint-Maximin, he's quickly going to grow bored of dribbling past milkmen and will just bag himself a loan move to Turkey next summer. What a waste. 25th, Oli McBurnie to Las Palmas. What is this? Oli McBurnie, Beanpole Sheffield United striker Oli McBurnie, the Scottish reincarnation of Peter Crouch, is now playing in La Liga. He'll be lining out against Barcelona and Real Madrid. He'll be sharing the same pitch as Mbappe. He has just joined Las Palmas on a free. Apparently he's actually turned down a lucrative triple your money deal in Saudi to instead just go and live in the Canary Islands. This is the move of his life. 26th, Paddy McNair to San Diego FC. Remember Paddy McNair, that ex-Man United misfit defender who eventually became a decent midfielder in the championship with Middlesbrough? Well, he's still only in his 20s, don't forget, and has just moved to San Diego FC. Do you know why this is strange? Because this football club was only invented 14 months ago. They still don't have a manager. The club have yet to play a single competitive match and won't even be integrated into the MLS Western Conference until 2025. They've only got 5 players on their books. McNair is only the 3rd signing in their history. He is literally going in blind. He doesn't have a clue who he's joining, who his teammates are, who his manager will be. It's like going on a blind date set up by your mum. This is such a risk. 27th, Marc Rodak to Al-Ettifaq. I always felt a bit sad for Marc Rodak, a 27-year-old Slovakian goalkeeper who helped Fulham get promoted from the Championship twice and yet was never given a chance to be their main goalkeeper in the Premier League. And anyway, he's finally been given up and been treated like a poisonous tea bag and has just joined Steven Gerrard's Al-Ettifaq. Bit random. 28th, Bryan Gil to Girona. It's crazy to think that Bryan Gil is still only 23. The Spanish winger never did anything for Tottenham, and yet despite a completely rotten, miserable season rotting on Spurs' bench, he somehow managed to bag himself a move to Girona. Yes, Champions League Girona. How has he managed this? 29th, Riccardo Calafiori to Arsenal. Yeah, Riccardo Calafiori is Arsenal's big marquee signing of the summer, wrapping up a £42 million switch from Bologna. Yes, I said it. Bologna! And this Italian defender, I am telling you, he is going to look like if David Luiz actually had cartoon monkeys running through a hedge maze in his brain. He is going to be absolute chaos. A miserable flop, just you watch. 30th, Charlie Austin to AFC Tottenham. Charlie Austin is still only 35 and has just joined AFC Tottenham in the conference. What? 31st, Shola Shortire to PAOK Salonika. This is kind of sad. Shola Shortire was this 20-year-old attacking midfielder star in the Man United Academy. Someone on the cusp of breaking into the first team under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He was given plenty of minutes in the team a few years ago, but no, Tanguy has never had any interest in Shola. Somebody who was born in Newcastle 20 years ago. His dad clearly named him after Amiobi. Maybe he lost a bet on the pub. But anyway, he's finally quit Old Trafford, joining PAOK Salonika in Greece on a 4-year deal. I don't know, this seems like something Silo Berahino would do. So, for a Man United Academy star, it's a bit weird. Anyway, that's it. Let me know, what do you think? What was the weirdest transfer of the month? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, always. I'll talk shit in a while. Do people ever listen to these outros? It's always a jumbled mess.
Oh yeah, and don't forget to download the Matchmasters game for free.